I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me.
Hi, welcome to Coffee with Connie. Today we're going to be talking about our new sign ordinance, our new amended sign ordinance. Just recently in December, the town board approved an amendment of the sign code. That amendment simplifies the sign code. It cleans up some of the discrepancies that were in the sign code that prevented our law department from enforcing easement regulations against illegal signs. So the entire board supported that amendment. And we're going to be talking today with Mr. Tullio Bartoli, who is our town planning commissioner, and Gail Bailey is the president of the Longwood Alliance. So welcome to you both.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Congratulations on the legislation.
Yes, it was a long time coming. We still have some ways to go in ordinance, but this is a first step. So, Tullio, would you like to give the perspective of the planning department on signs and how they can either improve or detract on our streetscapes?
Well, I guess with that, perhaps you should indulge me a little bit in how signs got out of control in general.
Sure.
I think the areas that we generally associate with sprawl and corridors have rampant signage everywhere. They really developed because of four reasons. One, they developed because zoning in the 20s came in and created segments of our built environment and sent it kind of thumping across the Long Island landscape. So we had clusters of residential, and they were supported by these retail corridors. Then you had the notion that you could brand signs in relationship with their products. So McDonald's really started, and Burger King came along. And then there was kind of a Cold War where one side had to outdo the other. Then there also became a sense of scale. So our early signs were pedestrian scale within our cities. When they got translated to suburbia, the scale was of somebody in a car going 30, 40 miles an hour, so the signs got bigger and bigger to relate to that element of scale. And then the last thing which I noticed, which was particularly as an architect offensive to me, is that the sign became detached from the building. And the building became what Robert Venturi called a decorated shed. And in some cases, the signs were more expensive than the actual buildings.
Yes.
So we're now at a point where sprawl is kind of taking this to the nth degree, that our automobile culture has kind of created the mess that we have that leads us to legislations like you propose. But more systemically, we need to find what the root cause of this type of environment is and how to change it.
Mm-hmm. Gail, as far as I know, you are the president of the Longwood Alliance, and therefore you take in Middle Country Road.
Absolutely. I mean, that corridor, Middle Country Road, is the road that we travel, all of us travel every day, and sometimes it doesn't look very country anymore. You know, there's parts where you almost wonder, am I in Las Vegas, the beginnings of Las Vegas, with competing signs and different types of signs. In the past, we've talked about some silly signs, or crazy signs, that waving, aerated thing that's supposed to attract people to the business, and all it does is frighten people, and it gets dirtier and dirtier as time goes on. And you have a business paying electricity just to blow that thing around in the wind, in addition to all the other lights that they've got on in their business trying to attract people. And Tullio, you mentioned the car-centric aspect of really up Middle Country Road and everything else here on Long Island. For a while we had the road, and then we had the sea of asphalt, and then we had the business way over here, to the point where now the signs became portable even. Remember there was that proliferation of the signs on wheels with the blinking yellow light, and then they would change the letters.
There's also almost three scales of sign. There's the one that you have to see from 100 yards out. Then as you get closer, there's another sign for Burger King on the building. And yet, if the message isn't gotten across, there's this third set of signs on the building itself. So it's like, how much of an idiot do you have to be to realize that the burger comes out of that building?
I mean, I think one of the things, obviously, business owners want to attract customers to their businesses, want to promote any sales they may be having, and we certainly don't want to discourage that. We want to enhance the economic vitality of all of our communities. Unfortunately, what has happened because of this over-proliferation of signs is that they have degraded communities
Yeah,
and
sure.
discourage people from coming to their, the community in which their business is located. So this whole over-proliferation of distracting signs really has done the opposite as far as economic vitality is concerned. And it's that whole message that, when everybody shouts, nobody is heard. And that's unfortunately where we're at today in suburban places like the town of Brookhaven.
There's a subtlety to signs. One of my favorite is there's a wonderful diner in New London, I believe. Beautiful classic diner, and all it says in the front is eat.
Yes.
This kind of whimsical approach to that.
Yeah.
But also signs, Carl Jung, I think, was the psychologist who talked about signs and symbols, so that you see a cross. It's a symbol because it relates to other methodology, other components. You see McDonald's arches, and that's a sign, it's not really a symbol. And so he talks about that juxtaposition.
I think too, many of the hamlets along Middle Country Road and elsewhere in Brookhaven Town, a certain pride in having a welcoming sign. I'm thinking of the signs in Coram.
Yes, the
new
new
one that we
sign.
have in
Yes,
Middle
it's
Island.
beautiful.
And that one that we have on the corner of Middle Island on the intersection of 21 and 25 actually replaces some failed signs. We had some groups that were putting up regularly signs that used to fall down all the time. One was for the sports group, and it was an important sign, but it fell down all the time. And the same thing with the Board of Education, used to put up a sign advertising their various votes as well as the plays, and they were reusing those same holes, and we were kind of just doing basically what we've done all the time is keep making the same mistakes, using the same technology, putting those signs up, and they fall down. So when we looked at the need for a classy sign, a non-electric sign in particular, that would welcome people into the hamlet and also replace those signs, we wanted to make sure it was something that was upgradable. You could update it, and it's working out great. The reaction has been tremendous. It really is. It incorporates those 3 panels.
And that's an example of, Julie, I want you to comment on this, that whole idea of context-sensitive design, something that complements the community rather than detracts from it. And I know that's a big movement in planning.
Yes, there's no question about that. I think the greater issue, though, is what do we do with that built environment? As you know, you and I have talked about and struggled with codes that take the commercial strip area and perhaps replace it with mixed-use compact housing. And I think we need to do that in order to cure the cancer, if you will. I think that just sign ordinance aren't enough to really transform that environment in Middle Country Road into something that's much more quality. I think your notion of compact, mixed use, begins to change the corrections, cures the cancer, and lets the picture live.
We have, the sign ordinance in particular, the amendments that were approved in December corrected many of the discrepancies that had developed over time in the sign ordinance. It was amended throughout the years, and so applicants were directed to go for variances to the planning board, to the town board, and to the zoning board of appeals. This was a conflicting and confusing sign ordinance, so that's one of the big things we did with the amendments. We also included an amortization clause, which means that we are giving the business owners a grace period to keep their signs and get their economic value out of their signs. And that's what amortization is. We don't want to punish the business owners. So any signs that were conforming and are now non-conforming has that amortization period to become a conforming sign, so to remove their signs. Or put them simply, the placement of the signs was also confusing. So to put them in the right place. Distance from,
From the building, from the road, from
yes.
the curb, from the car.
That was one of the discrepancies, so that was cleaned up in the code. So that's what we did.
Well, inherently, both of you ladies are saying the signs in them themselves are not bad. It's just the way they're treated, conceptually, placement.
Yes. We need signs. I think everybody agrees that some signs, and the one Gail referred to, that the community just put up, is a very, very attractive sign.
Sure.
And I think that adds to the community.
Absolutely, and certainly there are business signs
And
that
they're
will
very
entice
attractive.
you
Yes.
in. You want to go in because of
Yes.